I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Curling Stadium live coverage of the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We are live in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, and we have men's action for you tonight. It'll be the team of Knapp out of Saskatchewan, 2023 Brier representative against, of course, Brad Gushue. Seems to be at the Brier every year for quite some time now. For the Knapp team, and they didn't take their picture in the right order. Trent Knapp is the lead. Mike Armstrong is the second. He's standing on the left in the picture. Brennan Jones is the third, second from the left, and the skip, Kelly Knapp. For Brad Gushue, a bit of a new lineup. They've had the one change that I think everybody's familiar with. Jeff Walker still playing lead. Brendan Botcher newly in at second for the team now. Mark Nichols playing third, and of course, Brad Gushue, the skip. My name is Shawn Joyce, joined for this broadcast by Felix Asselin. Welcome, Felix.
Hey, Shawn.
Have you been watching? It's your first game here commentating at Swift Current, isn't it?
Yeah, actually,
Have you been watching some of the games?
Actually, no. Like a few ends here and there, but I've been working all weekend, so this is why this is my first game. I like doing this actually in my spare time, but yeah, first time doing a game this weekend.
We've got action here already in the opening end. Of course, as is normally the case, the teams have a practice session before the game starts and draw to the button to determine who's got last rock here in the opening end. It was Brad Gushue winning the draw to the button. They've got last rock, throwing the Yellowstones. Going to ignore that shot stone in the 8-foot and try to come around their corner guard. If they bury, they won't be shot rock, but they don't have to worry about that for now.
Kind of nice to see a bit of an aggressive play off the first end. I don't think we could have expected anything different, but it's nice to see.
Yeah, you never know with some of these teams. Early in the event, I saw a few blank ends to start games off, but had a game earlier today. It was one of the women's games, and then this one, you're seeing two guards already to start things off in the first end. Nice come around here.
I think it's been in Gushue's sort of style of play his entire career to, just put the pressure on his opponents, and he's not the biggest blanker in curling, so we should get some pretty interesting play all game.
Yeah, and I could tell you from here in Saskatchewan, I've seen Kelly's team play quite a bit, and they fit that same mold. They would just as soon play with rocks in play.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Knapp team. They've obviously played in a Brier, which I wasn't a part of, so not too familiar. I don't think we've ever played them, so It's a
You
brand
were
new
at
team
that.
for me.
You were at the Briar, the same Briar they were at. You were just on the other side. You were in the other pool.
Oh, okay. I thought they were at the next Briar. Sorry, I don't even remember that.
As I recall, and I did look it up, but it was earlier on in the event when I saw you were coming. I think you each finished fourth in your respective pools, so just missed the opportunity to advance.
If this was the Briar in London, yeah, we did finish fourth. We needed a loss from Team McEwen in that last draw, which they won, so we were straight out. We would have had a tiebreaker had they lost, but they played well all week. Actually, that was from Ontario. They were playing out of Ontario in the time, so
yeah,
that was our best Briar so far. So speaking of style of play, would you say that Knapp's team might approach things a little differently than what they're used to, considering they're playing Gushue, or will you think they will stick to it?
No, they'll stick to it. They're not going to deviate. They're well disciplined that way.
I think that's a sign of a fairly mature team as well. I mean, obviously Gushue's got the resume that he's got. Everybody knows it, but if you stick to it, what your strengths are, and you give it a shot.
Early on here in this first end of play, the Gushue team has things looking their way, needs to stick this one, and will hang on for second shot, edge of the 12-foot. House is well spread out.
Yeah, that was a really, really good roll. Looked like that was almost going to roll out, but ended up in the perfect spot.
It's not looking like there's going to even be a chance now to get these grouped for a double, so looking at trying to roll behind now.
I think the only way you could give yourself a double is to actually hit and roll low. A lot of people think you got to build things ahead and then make a cross house double, but maybe the best here is hit like half rock, roll all the way to the back.
Yep.
Team Gushue then needs to hit it, and then you probably have a double. Kind of like that.
Yeah, that's probably the best they could do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good roll. You rolled all the way across. Now, Brad needs to hit somewhere around the nose, and then you should have a double on your next one. You'll have one crack at it.
Actually, to make the double as hard as possible, he probably wants to roll a rocks width to the broom side. It'd be
That's
really
what he
thin,
actually,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what he tapped. Nose or a shade high will roll it to a perfect spot. Just curling hard.
Yeah, there's been big movement to the center all week. Well, there's a lot of distance between them, but the angle's got to be there. That's thin. It's still thin.
Yeah, it's probably a little thinner than what you would want to throw in a first end. It's probably close to a thin half, especially on the out turn. I seem to be playing the in turn, so it's a little slimmer. I would say it's not comfortable to be throwing to a third of a rock in the first end on the side of the 12-foot.
No.
That's why he skips, though, eh? They pay him the big bucks to make those. So.
Well, here's the thing. Up until 2 years ago, he was a career lead. When they put this team together, they needed one of them had to step up and skip, so he's skipping.
Who said leads can't skip?
It seems to have worked well for them. They've been playing very well out of Saskatchewan since they put this team together.
It's close.
He's got it.
There you go. There you go.
Not completely out of the woods yet. There is still the guard for Brad to try to come around. Now, it will be Kelly's guard out there. If he makes the come around, you might see the run back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to top this shot, this previous shot off to ensure you get at least a blank, because if Brad makes this nice come around, which we all know he'll be close, then you don't make the run back, then you still give up a deuce.
Yeah. Lots of room right now, but from the hog line in, this will really curl.
Looks to be on a good line.
Yeah, there it goes.
I'll need to drag it a little further.
Yeah, just a little, just a hair light. If he's 2 feet deeper, that's dead buried.
Yeah, like you said, full 8 probably would have been really annoying for Kelly, but it's still one of those where you're throwing it in the middle, first stand, draw to the button was, not in the middle. The whole land was played to the wing, so these can be a little tricky. As much as they feel like a gimme, they can be a little tricky.
B-event action here on Saturday night. The men started with 20 teams starting Friday morning. The women 17 teams started Thursday morning. So the winner of this game will move on to a B qualifier. That's tomorrow afternoon.
They're on it right off the bat here. Good shot.
Makes the hit, rolls just a couple of feet over to the left as we look at it now. It's got the back end of the rock in the rings as well, so Brad will have to roll to get the blank. So
what did I say about shot. Brad not blanking ends?
Well, he'll take it when he has the chance. At least this week he'll take it when he has the chance. He's going to be one of the teams participating in that Grand Slam coming up in January. Where they're going to be trialing the new rule where if you blank 2 ends in a row, you lose the hammer. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the strategy.
Yeah, personally, I think my main opinion on that is that it's never been tried out, so let's try it out.
Yeah, I kind of take the approach. I think it's long overdue because it'll force the team that's got the offensive advantage to actually try to play offense. And right now, I think it's more often the other way around. The team with last rock is play a defense. That's probably not the way it should be. We've got a blank here to start things off. Brad Gushue will keep last rock advantage into that second end of play.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you
Time clock's not being used here in Swift Current, but these two teams playing like they got somewhere to be. Already 2 stones down here in the second end as we resume play. Tight center guard, and then the corner thrown up right behind it. Trent Knapp looking to come around from the outturn side.
The leads have been perfect so far, as they should be.
This camera angle gives you such a good view of just how much late break there is here. You look at where that rock was when it crossed the hog line, and that's in danger of poking out the other side.
Yeah, I was actually going to say this on Brad's last draw. There's his first shot in the first end there. It wasn't a ton of ice he took, but you could see it was starting to go at the end. It just ran out a bit of weight, but there's some really nice finish so far for sure.
Yep. Yeah, you really don't need to be that tight by a guard.
And as a player, I think it's one of those surfaces, I think, where if you throw some weight, like from bumper weight up, then it stays pretty straight. So you're confident in throwing both draws and takeouts. So as a player, I think that's the kind of ice you like.
Yeah, you still get a little bit of movement with some weight. Even, it was one of the women's games I think I saw earlier, even with their peel weight, they were getting just a shade of movement. And now my playing days, or my competitive playing days, are behind me anyway, but I used to be able to throw the big weight. And what I've said before is you always hated the weight or the ice where you were scared that if you threw big weight, it was going to back up. So if it curls just a little bit, it sure helps you throw that up weight with some more confidence because you're not ever worried about it backing up on you. This is an outstanding surface here in Swift Current. The late movement allows all these finesse shots as well.
Yeah, you could sort of, make the hits, make the chase, make the nice draw around the freeze. So you get the full array of shots, and it'll help the players to play confidently and, play a little more aggressively than they probably would if the ice wasn't as great.
That was the 5th stone of the end, so an opportunity now for Brennan Botcher to play the run back. He could probably get all 3 reds here. Probably get all 3 reds. Might be able to get his yellow off the center too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think you could make them all fly and just grab 2 corners out of this one. I'd say that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, made the double on the 2 in the rings, did stuff the guard back, but rolls his shooter off the center line. Kelly looking at the short raise, red onto the yellow. He'd sit 2, but they'd both be in the open.
I think this is what it was really good about rolling that shooter, is sort of forces Kelly to make it. It's not a routine shot, but still, like a short run back, and then there's really low risk on the Gushue team.
Yeah, there's no way to make this shot and get anything behind cover.
Pretty much made it the best they could.
I agree. But now Brad's got all kinds of choices available to him. He could play the hit and roll behind. He could play. Well, they're looking at the tap. I thought he might look at the split too, which he could play, although you'd want to get the shooter out of the way of the Reds.
I think this is a really Brad Gushue type call. I think it's, he likes to, he has such a confidence that if everything goes wrong, he can draw the lid for his point regardless. So he's ready to put some pressure on. It's also the second end. I know it's very early, but the even ends thing.
Teams are looking at that right from the first end nowadays.
Yeah, they do.
You're a lot younger than I am, Felix. I play from a vintage where we didn't think about that till in an 8-end game, we'd think about it by the 6th, and a 10-end game, probably 8. And these teams are thinking about it when they throw the first rock of the first end. And they have to,
Yeah, winning,
right? Because
yeah,
everybody's that good.
Yeah, and winning that hammer is, it's not a 50-50 game when you win the hammer to start. So you then start thinking about winning percentages and what you need to do to get there. And it's true. Even in the second end, you want to just get on the scoreboard if you're the team from Newfoundland.
Got the tap behind the corner guard. Might be just a sliver available, and of course, with the late finish. Might be able to get it. Brennan Jones with the attempt. He's got to get by the corner guard. Oh, just the feather tick.
Rubbing it more was probably better than just touching it.
Yeah. Really didn't move the guard and went through without touching anything else.
Essentially is still pretty buried, and now Brad can roll another one inside and around his center guard, which is his.
Yeah, he could roll underneath or on top of the other red one. Either one is good. So he's got that really gives him 2 rocks wide to make a good roll here. And they're going to over-roll it just a little bit. That's a bit of a mistake. It gives them a bit of a get-out-of-jail card here.
Well, definitely, yeah.
That's a tough double to miss, to be honest.
It looks like they're even as well, so yeah, and I don't think there's a hole through everything, so.
Might be a little too thick. Takes the hit, rolls
across. Rolled to a good spot regardless, but
spun up off the second stone and left himself at a good angle.
That could almost be better because it increases your chances of forcing.
Yeah, I don't see a blank coming now.
I don't think that was the call, but it's a good result for sure.
Yeah, if you happen to make the double and stay right there, it's a double back, and you may well be looking at a blank. Still a chance for the Gushue team, and Mark Nichols looking to come around. It's his own guard that he's coming around.
I think I saw that they were trying to freeze this back one.
Inside corner, I would think.
Or just straight draw could do it too.
Straight draw would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Inside corner.
I guess that's inside corner.
Pretty good.
I might have overcurled an inch or two, but
maybe.
Kind of leaves the button. Like if they can free this yellow up with a small tap, like ever so slightly, then the yellow can be removed and the red is just in front of it, which would really be a good position for red.
Even if you just sit right on the face on the first one, what does Brad Gushue do in that case? I think it looks kind of like the pinhole is just available, but you'd have a hard time getting to it from this turn without moving that yellow.
It's also not an easy, if even possible, draw on that.
Yeah, I don't know that the intern's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it finishes enough that you're gonna be hard pressed to get inside that corner guard and then not crash on the center guard.
Yeah, if you freeze this, Brad's probably got to run the guard back, eh?
I think he has to, yeah. If this is made perfectly, yeah. I think if he makes this perfect, the only chance Brad will have to even score at this point will be to run everything, open everything up, and probably just draw for one. This is sailing, though, I would say. They haven't touched it since it started.
A lot of weight and a lot of room yet.
It's coming back a bit, but that's unfortunate.
Another chance for Brad to come around this time. I think for sure he'll be looking to be just in front of the tee line.
Yeah, top button here is...
Then we might find out whether or not that intern is there. It might be all that Kelly has.
Yeah. He might have to play a run, or I don't know if he can hit that left, the current shot rock to just give up a deuce. But if this is made perfectly, I don't know how it's not a score of at least 2 for Brad. They've played this draw all in, so you feel like they'll know the weight.
Yep.
They've been on and off, so this is a really good line.
Yeah. These rocks still continue to, as you come across the hog line, they almost like they put on a turn signal. Still might be just a little deep.
Yeah, I think it did. I think if you could freeze, I don't know, you'll be shot over the yellow, but then you'll definitely outcount the back one, and I don't know how then you score 2. If that stops 6 inches higher, it's at least 2 for yellow. Still needs to be made.
Not sure that he's not looking at the intern there. He's talking about trying to get to the intern or the inside of it. Maybe he thinks he can get across. That draw, there was plenty of room by the guard still.
I think they were talking more about like trying to tap it to sit shot. You definitely don't want to overthrow this again, because you know if it hangs out there and you just rub and roll off, then it's a very easy shot for 3. If you just freeze on the yellow rock, I think Brad will throw it to the boards and take 1.
Yeah, if you could get ever so slightly across the nose, you could probably play to tap it. But that's almost one where you got to just throw the cold draw. And if the line looks good, you let the sweepers try to carve it over.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is a sweeper shot. If this is made, they need to be involved, and they need to be the ones who make it.
Yeah, you can't play this to tap right out of your hand. This has got to be line first, and then we try to sweep for the tap.
They're sweeping, so they've obviously got less weight than on the first one.
Well, and I don't think he got out to the broom. He certainly wasn't as wide a path as he was on the first one.
On a really good line.
Tighter coming by. Didn't move it enough to be shot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Definitely looks like it's still yellow.
Can you hurt yourself with the straight back?
Well, you could definitely hit it, and then it hits the, I don't know, right side on the left screen and left side on the other screen of the red, and then maybe you give up 1. Maybe.
But if you net it, you're probably getting 3, right?
Probably, yeah, I would say.
Let's put it this way. They're talking about it, and I think that'll be the discussion. Is it worth the risk?
You could do it with the corner, and I know Brendan's pointing about it. You could do it with the corner. I think it helps the angle for the red rock to go out of the 4-foot. But you do...
Yeah, it's a lot of distance, and if you don't hit the red one, you put the steel... Like, if you just clip the yellow one... Well, there's probably still no way you give up 2.
No, I don't think you give up more than 1, which I don't think he wants to give up 1. But
no.
Obviously, he's shot rock currently, so he's looking at what's the... You know, I don't know if he can... I don't think he can draw either.
Well, I think what they're looking at is if they come down, it wouldn't necessarily be draw, it might be back line, right? If you got to the face of your own yellow stone at the back, would you be second shot? And you might.
Yeah, you might, but then you're also
it's hard to tell.
Half-inch away from just rubbing the shot rock and then spin right up and give up 1. I think they all have a risk of... All shots have a risk of giving up 1. They're just... What's the one that's got the least, and that still gives you a chance to. They're going to go for the run.
It was the first one they looked at. It does look like the more natural. I mean, it's a nose hit, and you're probably getting at least 2. I can't imagine he's going to throw this with huge weight. You only have to get it out of the forefoot.
I actually do think this is the better odds at least taking what is currently already a point.
So Brad Gushue with his final stone, sitting 1, looking for the run back. Could score as many as 3 here. It's close. Oh, they might have let it over curl. Moved it enough. He gets 2. So Brad Gushue with a nice run back on his final stone picks up the deuce. He takes the early lead. After 2 ends of play, it'll be Kelly Knapp with last rock in the 3rd.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Two nothing for Brad Gushue as we begin play here in the 2nd end. First stone was brought into the rings. The hit and roll to the corner. And this might mean that we're headed for an open end here, although we may see the delayed corner guard if this stays out in the wings. Well, it might even roll out.
I didn't quite see. Was this on purpose, you think? Or did that just... the guard slipped in?
With a 2-point lead, I would have to believe that they played the first one into the rings, and then Kelly Knapp hit it, rolled to the corner.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would say I'm a bit surprised. That's obviously a more defensive approach.
You do see this strategy played once in a while, and now I didn't see where the rock was that was in the rings, but just looking at where the rollover was, it must have been somewhere top 4. So you play the hit and roll to the corner, knowing that you can play the corner guard on this attempt and they still can't hit it. So you've already dealt with the rock on the center.
Yeah, and this is the usual continuation is then, Brad can't really throw this one in the rings because then it's, there's behind. No danger for the Knapp team, but you can't miss one shot if you're the Knapp squad because then you're in risk of getting all the guards peeled off and then you got no end going.
It's not necessarily a strategy that they play every end either. I wonder if it's maybe something that they're playing because we're in the odd end.
Well, you read my mind. I would totally agree with this because I don't think the odds decrease too drastically for Kelly if they do blank this one. So they're going to take a sort of low risk approach, and if it ever pays off, then great, they grab their deuce and they move on, and if they don't, then they're okay with the hammer in the fourth end.
Looking for the come around here. I don't know if this has got the legs to make the rings. If they could line them up, it's still a double corner, but it's not going to get deep enough for that either.
Still another corner, but I think the best way of having the red team forget about the corners is to bring the play into the middle, which they're obviously going to do with drawing around this center-ish guard. Give the double. Just might be okay.
Yeah. Got it about half behind. Kelly's going to make the play on the guard. I don't think they can get into the rings off of it. Not with the weight he's just signaled anyway. Trying to catch the double and roll away.
So in the few games that I did watch, there was a question posted in the comments that was coming back a lot, which was to explain how this scoreboard works. People are used to the other type of scoreboard, sort of a baseball scoreboard.
Yeah, that's what you tend to see on television most of the time. The traditional curling club scoreboard. I've seen it displayed both ways. Sometimes the score is in the middle, but here they've got it at the top.
It's close to 50-50, I find, when we go on tour and clubs. Yeah, it's you go in to hang up your first point of the first game, and you go, wait, what the heck are we doing here?
You got to check the scoreboard, the
yeah,
box, and see if there's any zeros. If there's zeros, it's a baseball style.
Yeah. So if anybody is actually wondering, still, in this type of scoreboard, you hang the ends that you've scored on the points that you've scored instead of the reverse, if you want.
Yeah,
so
the numbers printed on the board are not the end; they're the score.
Yeah, exactly. Which what's normally used on TV is obviously the complete opposite. I think the reason behind this type of scoreboard is that you only have to have one of each number to make it work, because you hang up the ends.
Yeah.
So you have to have 1 through probably 11, but whereas you got to have a pretty big pile of zeros if you run it scores like a baseball scoreboard.
And this is where you can tell how old the curling club you're playing in is, because sometimes they'll have 13 numbers and sometimes they'll have 15.
Oh,
this game used to be 12 or 14 ends. You needed to have a few more numbers there.
Yeah, you're right.
Makes
Pretty
the
good
raise
shot
double
there,
and kind of rolls off the center line.
Yeah, and even more than that edge of the 12-foot red rock is that sort of wall of red guards on the left side or right side, depending on how you're looking at it.
Now, this is where we could really see the difference between an odd end and an even end, and we'll see how it turns out. But we're on to third's last stone here. Mark Nichols going to make the hit on the stone on the edge of the 12, because you have to. If this was an even end, I think for sure Kelly Knapp ignores that and goes around. And I'm just not positive in an odd end that he does that.
That's a really good point.
This is a tough shot.
Yeah,
What he's looking at here to stay in front of the tee line if he makes the roll. Go ahead, Felix. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was wondering I was expecting the hit to actually work out and they would stick it in the rings, which they did. And then I was wondering while the yellow rock was traveling if they were already starting to think about if they were going to draw right away, which they now have moved away from trying to hit it and just tapping it instead of drawing around.
I don't think you even think about this if it's the fourth end. I mean, whether you're playing the tap or the come around, but you're playing an offensive shot in the fourth end for sure. And here they had to think about hitting that yellow first because there's always that. It's back to what we said earlier. Everybody's conscious of even end versus odd end to have the hammer. And if you blank this in, you've got last rock in the fourth. If you're ignoring that yellow stone, you could pretty much give up on the blank now.
Yeah, if you want to keep the blank alive, obviously you would hit, but if Brad then makes it and roll, you're still not blanking anyways. So.
Nope, exactly.
I think this would be the call that most team would make, or at least draw around.
Yeah, you would have liked to get that in for shot, though, because now you're going to be facing two. Just a little light on that. Angle was great. He would have tapped it in behind the wall of red, but you'd like to get it foot and a half deeper to make sure your shot rock.
Yeah, he had enough weight to make it shot rock had he hit more like 3/4 of it.
More straight back. Then it's maybe not buried, though. You could go straight back. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the guard wouldn't have rolled as far. I think it would have been guarded regardless. But yeah, or if he had a touch more weight, would have pushed it behind maybe even the far left corner guard with that. But then he would have been shot. So kind of needed to be shot. Now Brad can sort of draw around and lie to. One of them is buried in the middle. A lot of good things there.
I feel like we could rule out the blank end, though.
Yeah, it's not looking likely for sure.
Brad does have to be a little careful with where they put this. You've already seen one raise double this end.
You also have to not go far enough that there's a double off the wide yellow. It looks like to be on a really good line, though.
It's not just a throw it to an area type shot. This depth has to be fairly precise.
Pretty good shot.
Yeah, that's pretty good right there.
Don't think he wanted to go any deeper. Like I said, you could have gave a double. Might still be there.
It's tough. You got to get it all the way out. You'd hate to just push it in behind the reds. Then you're forced for sure. If you could hit the yellow, come across and just bump it into the open, that's not horrible. Because then Brad has to make a play on your shooter, and he could very easily leave you a double back for the deuce. The run backs, you stick the run back somewhere in the 8 foot. You're probably always going to have a shot for two as well.
The hard part about this run back in particular is to make it very perfect. You cannot actually nose this. You have to hit it like in this case, like a shade on the overcurl side. But then you also rolled the shooter. So these are the ones that are really hard to keep buried.
Depends on the weight you're throwing here. I think he's trying to run it back in a way so that he rolls it behind the corner. That great big wall of red over there.
Oh, definitely. I'm just saying it's harder than a straight back.
Yeah, for sure.
They're close.
Makes the run actually cross it just a little bit, but ends up with a nice run because it's hard for Brad to get to the nose of that. Even if he does, would he not leave the double on the yellows?
I don't even think he can get to nose. Or it's very, very close to
probably just with like a hack waiter, but he's going to be high enough to leave the double, won't he?
Yeah, that was a really good result.
Yeah.
what's the best you can do here? You could probably roll like sort of edge to edge with the yellow, but like sort of behind it.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get very far behind it, though.
No, or else it's a nose double.
Makes the hit, got almost to the nose, but did leave a fairly natural angle for the double.
Yeah, as much as the double in the first and he needed to make was not a really fun double to play. This is a perfect angle double.
Yeah.
Only need to, push it a couple feet. It's like a half rock.
Yeah, it's not so thin that you're flirting with missing it altogether either. Those are always the scary ones to throw, right?
Yeah.
He's got a pretty comfortable piece he can hit here.
It's actually, it's doable, but it's hard to roll over top of this.
Yeah, you'd have to whip it, I think, to throw, and he's not going to do that. Actually, when they're that close together, you got a lot of leeway with where you could hit it, too. You could probably hit this as thin as, well, what would you say, a third, and you're probably still good?
I think so, yeah. I even think a third will hit the side of it, and then the spin
right into
will
the
keep
side,
it right there.
So final stone, third end, Kelly Knapp. Facing two, but there's a double there, and he could tie things up. Called the brush on right away. This looks tight for line.
It does. I think that's a nose hit.
Actually got slightly inside the nose. Just takes his single point. That will put him on the board, but Brad Gushue with a 1-point lead, and he will also have last rock in the fourth.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Fourth end underway. Not exactly sure how we got here, but I'm going to guess that the first stone was just biting the rings. It allowed Gushue the chance to hit it. They stayed out. center guard thrown there with the second lead stone. That's in a good position. And now Jeff Walker with his second will try to come around.
Yeah, you're actually right. It just was biting the top of the ring, so they hit and rolled off to a perfect little corner without rolling it in. And then they just threw another center. So probably good news for Brad because there's only one guard and only one rock to chase probably.
There's probably a port to get to that. The danger is this is still just the fifth stone of the end. If you try chasing through the port and you crash the yellow one, that's still a free guard.
Yeah, or even if you crash a red one, which is your only center guard.
Yeah.
I think this makes more sense, especially because they're now one down without a short a sweeper here.
Looks like one sweeper might have been all they need. He's got it well around the guard. Nice angle on the yellow.
Did he actually just throw this and sweep this at the end there?
Yeah, he did. He did catch up to it.
If he called line, he did about everything.
That was the fifth stone of the end, so they are talking about making the play on the guard as well, but
that's a safe call, I would say. I think the only thing stopping them, well, they're still doing it, but the only thing that was stopping them or making them think was the fact that this is a fourth end. So,
is this the new guy's influence? Because Brad's first shot was to come around to the corner freeze, which fits with his style. But peeling a guard when you got a chance is certainly Brendan Botcher's style.
Yeah, I think he was mentioning that, the perfect, if you wanted to hand place it, then the perfect shot was probably the freeze. But I think he would have probably peeled it regardless, knowing that Kelly won't be hitting the red rock into the yellow right away because they know that they need to create some offense. So you could sort of wait and see if you could get a mistake. Ask yourself the same question again, though.
Yeah. Well, then it becomes a question of timing. If they're going to keep putting up the guard, now you got a little more curl there. The freeze would be tougher. Now that port's really small.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cat and mouse game where you're just who blinks first, who makes the first move. Sometimes you don't want to make it too early,
but
you also don't want to wait out too long.
If you wait too late, eventually Brad will decide, okay, we're not going to peel the guard this time. We're going to come in and sit two.
This is where Brendan comes in handy because you're the other team and you see Brendan throwing and you go, oh man, we must be late in the end. Because you're used
is that
to
how you're
him
confusing him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will say, it's not like this is a new weapon exactly for Brad because he went from, he had EJ Harnden playing with him before Brendan signed up and even then before that, Brent Gallant. So he's always had that kind of weight available at second stones. You think of Brad as playing all the soft shots and calling all the soft shots, but he's always had that second that could move a lot of granite.
Yeah, he's definitely had good seconds over the time for sure and had good success with them. I'm still trying to find a way to, we don't have that many cracks against a team like that, but I'm still trying to find a way to beat them. Never done it. So now they're thinking about changing gears, probably trying to maybe
Yeah.
light 2 or
Well,
just add another yellow so that the pressure increases.
This comes back to that game of cat and mouse, though, because I think let's think about how the other team is thinking about it. And Brad knows this, right? He knows if we peel the guard one more time, most teams are going to expect you to make an offensive move on third's last stone. So if we wait one more, they're going to hit that stone in the ring, so we don't get a chance to make the offensive move. So he's going to make it 1 stone before that. You make a good one here. 3 still in play.
Yeah, and there's only three reds to come. There's only, one side of the sheet is currently fully wide open, so there's not really a way for red to remove the yellows right now.
There is now.
Yeah, spoke too quickly, but
yeah, that was quite a bit short.
On a good line, you just needed to keep going.
Yeah, it had to go another at least 3 feet. If you're only a foot, then the run double is pretty easy too. You would have left the yellow side by side. That's 2 to 3 feet light of where they needed to be.
Yeah. Do we agree that the yellow sort of guard is off the rings?
I think they decided it was out. Now, they didn't measure it, but it looks like it's out. And I do think Kelly would have hit it if it was in.
Well, the only chance he had to hit it if it was in was when they rolled off the missed center. I don't know, like that one down you hit that.
Yeah, maybe
not.
not.
Still throw a center, so I don't know. And it's also like the cameras is close to over the center of like over the button, so sometimes those look more out than they really are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I would say it's out.
You never know for sure just how close the cameras are to the button either. It's sometimes when you go into a building like this, an existing curling club, you have to mount those cameras somewhere where there's already a spot to mount them, and it may not be directly over the pinhole either. It could be a little to the front, a little to the back. It'll be close. Speaking of close, that was close to the double, but misses the second stone.
Yeah, you needed to probably hit a third or less, so same opportunity again. You can draw around this one, even if you half bury this, as long as it's past the full 8 yellow. It's looking real good for Brad Gushue.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a ton past it. Half in the forefoot's probably enough. You just won't want them dead even where the red onto red into a pocket is almost hard to miss, right? You're not going to miss both of them, let's put it that way.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a team of that caliber to run in everything.
Stagger.
By. They're not sweeping it, so they feel like they've got enough weight. Got a good line as well.
Maybe a hair too deep this time. Now this freeze still has to be made, but he's got the shot available to just follow it down. Looking at the angle on the yellow, can you get all 3 of them? Boy,
I think he's
tough.
Probably looking more about if they make the freeze, does he have anything off that? I don't think he would ever play the triple.
I don't think so either.
Not even sure it's quite there, but it's probably, I don't know. I don't think it's there, to be honest. So I just think they looked at how good or where they need to put this draw for this yellow-yellow combination to, remove a lot of yellows and maybe put them in a good position. They need to freeze this pretty good.
Yeah, you got to be right on the face.
This can be shot of the game right there, technically.
This is going to be really tight. Yeah, not going to get by, I don't think. And rolled out into the open. Spun back a little at the end, but there's still room to get to the inside of it. Make the hit roll a little bit undercover, and boy, it's going to be tough not to give up 3, maybe 4 if you're Kelly Knapp.
He'll probably have a double back, but then, then Brad draws around it again. And actually, this is Brad's first.
Yeah, he's going to try to get in underneath the, even if you have to wiggle in off that red.
I almost think you want to, because then at least you're partially buried around that center guard. Because if you actually nose this, there just might be a triple, like a slash triple.
Yeah, I see what you mean. There could be. Well, I think he definitely wants to get to the inside, but if he's going to roll buried, I think he has to hit the back end of the other red and then spin under a little bit. Like if he rolls into the side of it and look at where he's hitting, he's close to being into the side of it. He still might be able to see enough of it to at least make 2 of them go away.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think he needs to flirt with that red to get as low as possible.
Line's close, really starting to curl now.
Guard's coming. It's a good shot. It's a very good shot. I do not know that they can get the third one.
Is the yellow onto the red into the pocket? Does that get all 4 yellows?
Yikes. I don't know. I don't know that top 4, if you want yellow, doesn't just go jamming into the shot rock, and you're making a more complicated shot than you already have for the same result. Because if the first yellow you hit sticks, and then the red, rolls a bit open somewhere, then you're giving at least 3.
Hard for the red to roll open, I think.
Your best chance is probably to rip the middle double and swallow the pill and try to just get back into this game after.
You can only see a thick half on the double. It's not a...
No, it's not an easy one regardless, no. You don't ever draw, do you? Around the top 8 rock?
I don't.
You know you're going to make it, it's probably the best call.
It's not to say you couldn't, because let's face it, things are overlapped. If you could get... You only have to get a sliver underneath, and you probably can't get it out.
I think the only way to get it out would then to play the sort of double, the yellow double, and have the first yellow spin down to shot rock. Maybe get 2 this way, but
yeah, maybe
they did tap. They saw it. They saw the draw. I don't know that you play it, but they saw it.
To make them all go. And you throw these up shots pretty well, Felix, too, so you see if you're on the same page. I think he's got to hit this less than half onto the red. He needs to drive it so that it actually takes out the one on the center line first and then comes back onto the other one, so it's coming more straight back. I think if he hits the one at about the 1 o'clock position first, if he drives the red into that one first, I think you're right. I think it dead jams. I think he's almost got to come off the side of the other one to be able to get all 3 of them. And he's going to have some weight.
Because
you're not hitting the one on the center line, you're not hitting very thick, and it's got to go all the way out the side. Would it ever get stuck on that catcher on the side? That would be some bad luck, but it might, eh?
I don't think so. I don't think the catcher's in play, but I really don't see it. Even with the angle you're saying, I do not think you can make that. I hate to be a party perfect. We'll see.
We're gonna find out. Well, maybe we're not. I don't think he's gonna hit it.
I think that was always going to go in it.
Well, just because of the way he stuffed it, he's already sitting 2, and it's a chance to draw for 3 and take a 4-point lead. They do have to take enough ice to get by their own. If they come to the face of their own, it's still only 2.
Gotta take almost edge of 12, so that's good. Nice curl. When you really think about it, it's like Team Gushue obviously played a really good end, and then Kelly couldn't quite get out of it. But you know, everything started with that first guard that slipped in the ring that really helped Gushue to dictate play in the whole end, and it just stayed that way the whole way. Look to be walking this one right in it.
Yeah, they're just cleaning it in. He needs a little better than full 8. He's going to catch the corner of the forefoot. Brad Gushue picks up 3 points. That hammer's been good to him. 2 in the second, 3 more here in the fourth. He's now got a 5-1 lead. It'll be Kelly Knapp with Last Rock when we come back for the 5th.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over
I'm gonna believe they can, and I'm looking at the chat. It's not just us. There was another game frozen.
So I believe they haven't thrown one rock since.
No, they've been looking at what to play next.
Yeah.
And it looks like
they waited for us.
Well, that was nice of them.
So before it stopped, I was actually going to ask you, like Casper and Samson are playing on sheet 3.
You had asked. I heard the question.
Got his last name in capital letters. What did Knapp do not to get his in capital letters?
Well, he played last week in the SAS Tour event. It's quite possible that that they're just reusing an older sign, and it was done in upper and lower case in his case. I don't remember. I did this event from Swift Current last year. I don't think Brad was here. This might be Brad's first time at this event. Brendan's played in it before.
So when you're a newbie, you get capital letters? Is that how it works?
It might be that whoever was making the sign this year used capitals.
That's okay.
A little too thin on the contact. Off the guard, touches the shot stone and spins to the back 8, but does stay sitting second and third. And
not the worst result. I mean, they opened shot rock and they added another red in the rings without really giving a double, at least on this shot. So they're not out of the woods yet, but this is not a bad shot.
Mark Nichols looking to make a hit on the stone on the 12-foot, try to roll underneath the cover. I don't think he can sit 2 on this. Well, maybe he can. Well, he can sit 2, but he's left a pretty easy double.
Yeah, you do give up a double, but if you need to make the double by hitting a shade high and then you give up the double right back, you might kill your whole end. So it's not that bad of a result either. It's not bad. No, not bad at all. Actually, I would say. The problem for the Saskatchewan team here is that they have essentially no guard, so they have to sort of get 2 out of making all their shots, never rolling into a double, and hoping Brad doesn't make one.
Yeah, you need to be right on the beak here, and
even a little low.
If low gets over the top of the red, and it did.
That's a really good shot.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, very, very good. Every time I say something, it's just the opposite happens.
Yeah, that was made so well that it's not there yet, but 3's not out of the question because you're not getting that rock if you're Brad Gushue. You're hitting the one at the back right now.
It's hard.
What are you playing with your first one, Felix? It's hard, but it's not impossible because Brad's never able to hit that stone at the top of the 8-foot.
Did you ask me what I would do on the next one for red?
If he noses this, I don't know how you can freeze. Like my first thought was if you could freeze to it, but I don't know how you get there. The center line guards are kind of in the way of getting there with the in-turn.
I don't know if you could wrap around that sort of overlapped yellow, but you're still your first and third shot if you do that.
Yeah.
I think you need to hit this and grab 2, to be honest. Well, you could probably try the roll low side, like they just pointed out.
Yeah, for sure.
If Brad then makes the freeze, he obviously gets away with it, but that's probably your only chance of hoping for a small mistake and grabbing 3. Big shot, I would say, here.
I still think you could freeze to that. It's certainly there from the out turn now. Let's put it this way. If you make the roll behind, Brad's going to try and draw down on top of you, and it's Brad Gushue. like your chances of him not getting something in the way.
No, so do I, but
if you make the freeze, it's not his strength. He certainly can blast it out, but it's not his strength.
I just don't know that, say they don't roll behind here and Brad happily just gives them 2, like,
yeah.
I'm not too sure about how great the odds of Knapp are, even with grabbing 2. So maybe you do want to roll low and take that odd chance that Brad doesn't make a nice draw.
Well, he's not rolling low.
No. Actually, Brad can roll low now. Don't want to touch the top red, but if you roll low here, you can kill the entire end for red.
There's probably enough room there. If he gets too tight by the guard, he could roll past those 3 stones at the front and out into the open.
Ideally, you roll under, but like I said, you don't want to crash. So they're curling it, so I don't think the crash is in play anymore. Did you expect anything else than that?
No, that's pretty well made.
I think you got to play the in-off now.
Scoreboard say you're playing the in-off?
Oh, yeah. Sadly, I don't think there's another choice. I mean, it's a shot for 2, so if you make it, you get 2.
A nice thing about an in-off like this is you don't have to whip it because you're not really hitting the first one that thick. You're not going to lose a lot of weight. It's just figure out where you have to hit it and throw whatever weight you're comfortable with.
It's probably going to look something like a normal to try and get the best chance of sticking everything, and then the best chance of also having your sweepers involved and making the right line, because it's everything about this shot is about line.
Yeah, you could probably make it even with like a control hit if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
you're only hitting, what do you think you're hitting? About an 1/8?
Yeah. It's
thin,
just,
right?
Control, I find you put ice reading into play, and they're going to play it on the out-turn side, which there's no official side to make the shot. It's probably a little easier to roll that steep with the in-turn.
Yeah, it is, because you get a little bit of the gear effect, and you'll roll a little lower. I'm surprised he's playing from this turn, because if Kelly has a
even
preference,
slimmer now. I would say 16th now.
His preference is usually the in-turn, and it's not because he's got a turn preference so much as where they've got the sweepers positioned. He's got a lot of faith in Brother Trent sweeping, so he likes to keep him on the inside. This puts Mike on the inside.
I mean, if they don't know the in-turn because they haven't played it, then maybe this is better.
Ooh.
Man, that was close.
They carved it a little at the end and just over curled, misses the second stone altogether. It's a steal of 1. Brad Gushue now with a 6-1 lead after 5 ends of play. Kelly Knapp will retain last rock, but he's got some work to do now.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
The shooter removed from play.
I think this was maybe Jeff Walker's first missed shot. It's a very hard shot. They were also trying to take it the other way around, I think, where they're trying to punch it closer to the boards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a tough shot. I actually do think it's his first miss.
It's more common to see that split on the corner guard where they try to push it into the rings, and that's a shot. And you're quite familiar with it too, Felix. You play a lot of doubles. That's a shot that's kind of made its way into four-player curling. It originated in the doubles.
Yeah, but funny story, I'll make it quick, is that the way Laurie St. George, which is my girlfriend, and we played doubles until last year, and I would play that shot because I would throw the first and fifth shot, and I think over last season I probably made it a total of 0 times, so I don't know. And then she would make it. She played it a couple of times and made it a couple of times. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not good at that shot somehow.
That's extra tough too, because when you're playing with the girlfriend, you can't just blame the sweeper when you didn't make it.
Oh, and it was never really her fault, to be honest. I wasn't too close to it either on several occasions. I was just not making it.
That's funny.
Laurie's actually a pretty good sweeper. She skips her. She skipped her whole life, but she can sweep pretty well. She actually swept. Sorry, playing for Chelsea Carey in the Slam, which I think was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And she played on that front end all weekend. They actually qualified, so she could sweep.
Well, there's no secret what's coming with the strategy here. Brad Gushue's going to try to get the play to the middle. Kelly Knapp needed this rock in the rings, so that was your first chance to come around the double corners. But now you're late enough in the end. Brad can start peeling guards.
You could probably peel the tight one, and then you could chase anything that's around that longer one. The Knapp team did not play badly. They just have really timely misses, if you want, that have been really costly.
Agreed. And now you're really up against it here as you play in the sixth. They needed, really honestly, they needed to score 3 here, which can happen in the 5 rock free guard zone, but it's tough when you've had a complete miss on your second stones. It's tough to come back and get 3 now.
Yeah, and as you see now, I think they're going to completely ignore, for now at least, the corner guard because it's just too high. I don't think that you could put a red rock around that where Gushue doesn't throw a hack waiter at it, chases it, and then now you're facing 3 yellows in the middle. So they're changing gears, but it's very hard to make that shot without a guard, without any protection.
But you're making the freeze here. You're hoping for a half shot where he leaves this in the rings somewhere. Then you come around the guard. He hits the open one. You come around the guard again. I mean, you need a lot of things to go right here.
Oh, you do, definitely. And this needs to be like welded on that yellow.
It's close.
It is close.
Well, that's pretty good.
Close.
That's as far as getting something to go well for the first shot. That's pretty good.
Okay, I mean, obviously, you can smash it by hitting it with the top 4 yellow, and that creates enough angle that you can remove the red rock, but it's as hard as it could have been for sure.
Exactly. And this is, you just need a bit of a mistake on this one. You need that red one to stay in the ring somewhere. It can be open, but it needs to be in.
I think
if the red stays, you come around, and he hits the open one.
All the way to half rock, he's going to get this. Oh, he even
picked it clean.
Kept his yellow. Oh. That was hard to do, actually. I mean, they made it look easy, but that's not easy to keep both yellows on that shot.
Kelly he's called for the freeze, and he would like it just past the nose. I don't think he wants it as far past the nose as what he tapped the ice. And this, I think, came from the other end. They like to come around better. I mean, there is a double in the middle, but it's tough to come around that well enough that they can't get at it. If you dead bury this at the top 12 foot where he doesn't think he can chase, he peels the corner guard, and I'm not seeing how you're getting 3. 2 doesn't help you.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only thing is I don't know that they really believe in this being a possibility for 3 anymore. So you got to almost, what's the best chance of getting 2 and somehow being 3 down in the 8th end and 7th end? So it's
3 down without 7. What do you 3 down playing 7 without? I think you're statistically losing that game about 99% of the time.
Here, I'm going to pull it up for you. I love statistics and stuff like this, so...
It's not going to look good, I'll tell you that.
No. I might have an even hard time finding that sort of stat because it's so far off that... Yeah, it is 99.9.
Yeah. The
and
difference...
it might actually be rounded down to 99.9 just so it's not 100.
The difference between 2 down and 3 down, you sarcastically say, well, it's just a point, but it's big because 3 down with 2 ends to play, you have to steal a deuce somewhere.
Yeah.
2 down with 2 to play, you still only have to steal 1 point at a time.
Just for the sake of it, if you were somehow to take 3 and beat 2 down and 7, it would still be 99.4 for
Is it that much?
Yeah. So you need to take 3 to improve your odds by 0.5%.
Well,
Sadly, it's the reality right now.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to score 3 now when you're coming to the middle. I think you had to make the freeze on the first one, Brendan's first one. You still needed the half shot, the mistake where they leave 1 red and then you come around. But by coming to the middle now, Brad's got 2 chances to blast 1 rock out, and the worst you can ever get is 2. And they didn't get the freeze. So now 2 is going to be hard.
Yeah, Brad's not going to miss this one, so you're going to have to weld the freeze, tie them with tie wraps and some glue, everything.
Hope for another power outage.
Yeah.
Just before Brad's about to let go.
Yeah, and then that's only going to give you 2. Weirder things have happened.
Skip stones here to come in the 6th. This is Brad Gushue's first. Just looking to remove the lone red stone from the rings. He'll be sitting 3 after this.
I mean, dead nose. And even then, he'll have the same shot on the high side of the top 8 rock to remove it. But that's as hard as you can make the shot for Brad.
B event game, as we mentioned earlier. The winner of this game moves into a B event qualifier tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 Swift Current time. Losers still alive, dropping to the C event. We'll have a chance to carry on through the C and perhaps qualify for the playoffs. Championship round for the men starts Monday morning.
Yeah, that famous C grind sometimes is almost it sometimes turns out to be a blessing for some teams. They just get on a groove and then they start winning.
Yeah, well, it can happen, right? It's you got to rattle off 2 or 3 in a row through the C event to qualify. Well, now you're on a bit of a roll going into the playoffs. He was looking to tap that back to dead even with the other yellow, hoping that he got a jam, and it's just heavy. That's what he indicated, I think, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just freeze.
Just strong.
I was going to say, it's really heavy if that was a call for a freeze.
Well, it was pretty heavy even for the tap. He was only looking to move it 2 feet, and he moved it almost all the way through to the hacks, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to keep that yellow in play. That was your best friend, but... So you said the C, for whoever loses this game, with that C game is not tonight, is it?
I'd have to double check that, but I don't think
Because I was going to say maybe for Kelly, the best thing going forward would be to end this game, to have as much time as possible to regroup for their C game, if ever it's tonight.
Yeah, no, the C game is, they drop to a C semifinal at 5:45 tomorrow, and then if they win that, they're in a C qualifier, so they'd be back-to-back tomorrow night to qualify.
So they're going to draw for one, obviously. You think that's the end of this one?
I do.
Yeah, so do I.
This is one where psychologically, you know you're probably shaking hands after this shot. You'd like to put it right on the button so you can feel good about that as you leave the ice and try to regroup for that game
score
tomorrow.
A point and just finish the game on a made shot is always great.
It's the long layoff that's really going to be hard. They don't play again till 5:45 tomorrow. That's tough to have that long of a layoff after a game where you just maybe weren't sharp.
Just grab an extra drink then.
Puts it right on the back corner of the button. He will pick up a single point, and they do shake hands. Brad Gushue will pick up the win here in this B semifinal. He moves on to the qualifier tomorrow afternoon. Kelly Knapp taking the loss. He'll drop down to the C. He plays later tomorrow afternoon. Still has a chance to qualify through the C. A lot of action yet to come this weekend from Swift Currents. The RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Men's and women's action continuing on through today and tomorrow. The men's championship all by itself on Monday. We will have all of the action for you here on the Curling Stadium Network. You have streaming available on all games and commentary on selected features. Just before we head out tonight, we've got all of the scores from this draw updated as they are. Just the one final, our feature game, Brad Gushue, it's 6-2 final over Kelly Knapp. On sheet 1, Kevin Cooey, the 6-2 lead after 6 on Evan Van Amsterdam. Dustin Kaltoff, Sam Waybrick tied 2-2 as they play in the 7th. Ethan Sampson trailing Daniel Casper 6-4. That one in the 7th end as well. We want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. On behalf of myself, Shawn, Joyce, and my partner in this broadcast, Felix Asselin, we want to thank you for joining us and hope to see you for the rest of the weekend. Some outstanding curling still ahead here from Swift Current.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.